Hi, Teresa.
Hi. So we have Lori on the call. Lori is Abby's
Hi, my friend.
Of course.
Hi.
Yeah, Teresa and I know each other from Radies.
Okay.
Oh, yes, she's been telling me her like life loves little Zarabelle. Yes.
So cute. I can't with how cute she is.
We're doing Zarabelle's room. Well, we were supposed to be doing it May 14th through the 20th. We will be cloning the room or pushing it back a little bit so we can all stay safe and be wise. Yeah.
That makes good sense.
So Teresa, we have Lori on the phone, we have Donica on the phone. She was our first Rooms to Heal. We've adopted all of these women actually. So what you'll know is that now that you're doing this room, you're stuck with me in a way, which is a good thing because
Great thing.
cool.
You want
True
her
story.
in your family.
And we have Erica, and we did Ian, Olivia's room, and then you have Erica and her daughter's Olivia. We did Olivia May of 2018. So that's crazy. We did Erica May of 2018, Lori, Abby's room 2019. Donica, we did Kara's room in 2019, right?
Yes.
And then we're supposed to be doing Zarabelle's room in May, but we're gonna probably do it hopefully June, July.
Here's to hoping, right?
Yes, we're hoping. So how are you mamas doing? My goal is it's a quick call. I want to give our comfort creators, our community practical ways to really just rock being at home. What you awesome super mamas have done with your kiddos, and just avoiding stress the best you can. So let's rock into it.
Hey, Kia, Teresa's still on mute. Can you unmute her?
Is she? Yeah, I can unmute her. Let's see. I think she
She should be able to too.
Yeah, I think she chose to do.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm here. I'm listening.
Got it. Sorry, I thought that you were not on. I apologize.
No worries. All right, so let's just jump into it. So one of the things I want to talk about for this call, I'm trying something new that I wanted to tap in with you awesome mamas. Let's just talk about how you guys are doing quarantine, how this is really similar to being in treatment, and then let's talk about homeschool. What are some tips and tricks that our community can use for homeschooling? What are some tips and tricks, Donica, that our kiddos could use for the discipline, having structure, having a schedule, but at the same time, being active and free. I don't know, good balance, all of that stuff. And then essential oils. Like, how are we knocking these kids out? Are you giving them Benadryl all day? What oils are you using and stuff? And how are you a peaceful
ED and THC.
Not a lie.
not a lie. And
not
then,
a lie.
Teresa,
Lots of
and then Teresa, like little snacks and stuff. What you're doing to keep your 3-year-old little Zarabelle? Well, she's 2.5, but little.
Sweet thing.
Yeah. What are you doing to keep her entertained and fed without going out every 2 seconds? Because I feel like my kids are eating everything in the house, and bless their hearts. So yeah, let's get started. Let's talk. Lori, what do you do for homeschool?
You want me to go first? Cool.
Yeah.
Let me open my notes.
How are you?
I'm good. So for those who don't know me, my name's Lori Schomp. I have 3 kiddos. Jack is a freshman in high school. Abby's in 6th grade. And my little West Zoe is in 3rd grade. Abby has an B-cell ALL diagnosis. And Carson Neal did Abby's room this time last year. So my background's in education. I wanted to talk a little bit about what schooling looks like for us and just some perspective taking. I have lots of friends whose kids are in standard public schools whose teachers have these crazy expectations about being at a desk for 4 hours a day, 5 hours a day. And from a homeschooling perspective, there's never been a time any of my homeschool kids have ever been at a desk that many hours a day and are all performing well above grade level. So first of all, check the reality of what quarantining is versus what normal homeschooling is. Normal homeschooling for us looks like being out a ton and doing a lot of hikes and being out at the beach and that kind of stuff that doesn't look like normal school. So don't try and create normal school at your dining room table. Nothing about this is normal. For us, we have I just kind of have a handful of non-negotiables for my kids before they are free for all, playing video games, chatting with their friends, that kind of stuff. So basics, they need to read 30 minutes. They need to make sure they've done something to help somebody. They need to make sure that they have done the basics of their homeschooling. They need to make sure that they have been creative in some way. I don't care what that is. You can paint, you can draw, you can sculpt something, move your body, and then also move your body. They need to get 30, 45 minutes of exercise before they're I'm going to play video games for 6 hours with my friends, right? So those are kind of our non-negotiables.
Okay.
And stop me if you have questions or you want to cut me off or anything.
Will you repeat that just quickly again?
My
30
list?
minutes. Yeah.
Sure.
Go.
So they have to read 30 minutes. My kids are really good readers, so it's not something I have to fight about, but minimum of 30 minutes before they do, go off and have their normal social life with their friends.
Mm-hmm.
They have to move their bodies for 45 minutes, running, swimming, walking. We have 2 dogs that need to be walked, that kind of stuff. They have to be creative, make something. They have to do something to help somebody else. So in some cases, my mom is a director of nursing at a long-term care facility. So my kids have been sending lots of letters to those folks because those people are in super strict lockdown, can't leave their rooms in many cases. Super lonely, I would think. And if they, helped my husband with something, have they gone to a sibling and helped with math, something, right? Help somebody. And then they're non-negotiables from their homeschool program. So Jack is normally in seat 4 days a week, and my littlest one goes to school 3 days a week. So their teachers have sent out through Schoology what they have to do. So if they've done the vast majority of that, and they've also been helpful in some way, contribute to our home, right? Do your chores, help make a meal, something along those lines. Then they can ask to play video games or to chat with their friends or whatever. So they have a checklist they have to go through, and I'm happy to send that to you, Kia, if you want to send that out.
Yes, I love
that. Thank you.
Sure. And when all else fails, 2 things we go to. We go to normal life skills. So when we're off the rails, we all cook together, we all clean together, we all go outside and work in the garden together, that kind of stuff where it's this is what you need to actually be a person in the world versus the calculus class you're taking, quite frankly, right?
Yeah.
And we also do kid meals. So once a week, each one of my kids are responsible for cooking a meal, and then the other 2 clean up from that meal. So just be competent people, right? I mean, I got to college and I literally didn't know how to do a load of laundry. I don't want that, right?
Yeah.
That's bad.
Right.
And the all else fails thing is we break out read aloud to my kids, or listen to podcasts together, or I just bought Zoe another audiobook, that kind of stuff that it's if you just need to chill out, some downtime, do that. And we also have a 30, this is old Girl Scout rule, 30 to 45 minutes alone every day, right? Because this is a lot of together. We live in a relatively big home, still a lot of together, right? So go take 30 minutes, go in the backyard by yourself, go to your bedroom, go to the garage, go for a walk by yourself, whatever that looks like, because everybody needs that, quite frankly.
Right.
Another two other things that I think it's just important to remember. Oh, another thing that we do every night is we play a family game. So post dinner every night we clean up and we do a family game. I feel that's important because I feel especially my freshman in high school would literally be on FaceTime or Discord with his friends all day chatting and never see us if allowed to his own devices. So that we like. 2 more things real quick. Think about all the anxiety that's in your body right now about coronavirus, in our cases, having kids going through cancer treatment, that kind of stuff. Your kids are feeling that too. So expecting them to on a dime, oh, now I homeschool and just hit the ground running. I'm not hitting the ground running, right? I needed a hot minute to get settled into it. So I think we need to be, and remember that our kids have far fewer coping skills than we do, right?
Right.
So be gentle with that in terms of expectations. And in that, I've set clear limits with my kids' schools. This is what we can do. This is what we can't do. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're definitely not going to do. So slow your roll on it.
Yeah. Good. So good. Give great grace to ourselves.
Totally. So those are my, first line homeschooling stuff. If you guys have questions, I'm happy to answer.
Yeah, I would love if you don't mind. I'm gonna post. So I think we've been kicked off of live, but the cool thing is I'm recording this kind of webinar, I guess, with us. So I'll just have to post it, and then people will probably have questions with it. But I just think this is a really good conversation to have. Like you said, like it's hard. You're like, oh my God,
I could share it right now.
yay, perfect. Am I still on live? I don't know. You guys let me know. So that's really good. Who wants to jump in next of like some things that we're doing and just some their tips and tricks?
Can I just interject, because I think it goes hand in hand with what Lori is saying? Can you hear me okay?
Absolutely, yes.
So what she's saying to me, and this is obviously the Donica part, in order for my kids, who's a first grader or a 7-year-old and a 10-year-old, who I have 2 high energy children, they need to exercise. Like that's like, I have a big breed dog. I really don't have dogs, but it's like that same mentality where I can't get my kids to focus unless they exercise, because I'm the same way. And I'm crazy when I don't exercise, but I eat too much. So you can't tell I exercise. Side note. But so my thing would be exercise. And then I also, when we're talking about essential oils, will help them after they get all of those endorphins released, which now they think it's endocannabinoids that are being released when you exercise. And that's why exercise is so vital for your body's overall immune balance and emotional balance.
Okay.
So sorry, that's a side note. That I also do use essential oils, even though their body generally will go into a great state to be able to focus and engage in schoolwork after exercise. So I like to do that early in the morning, and I notice a huge difference when I don't, like when the weather is rainy, don't go outside. I got monsters by like the end of the night. They're like jumping off the couch, and it's crazy. And so we just go out in the rain now, and we take walks with, umbrellas and rain boots, and realizing like it is a non-negotiable. But what I wanted to interject on that, when you do want to focus, I just wanted to say I do use essential oils as tools. As we know, our sense of smell is super powerful. It's a sense, and it's super engaging, and it will help trigger your brain into different and activate different parts into focus. So I do have a couple of oils that a lot of people would generally hear of: rosemary, wild orange. Those are great. When I used to work at a desk job in an office, I have a hard time sitting at a computer, but I would put those two, like rosemary and wild orange. They're super affordable. I don't know if it's upside down, I can't tell. They're super affordable oils, a couple drops in a diffuser, but you could even just inhale them. You don't even have to have a diffuser, just open up the caps. Really helps with children's focus. Rosemary has been proven, studied, that it's great for testing. It's great for focus, concentration. It's also uplifting. It's great for your airways. So especially if you're combating COVID or any sort of respiratory illness, it helps cleanse the air as well. Wild orange is a really amazing essential oil as well. As we all know, a lot of people crave citrus fruits. Just the outside of the oil, when you rip it open, what you see squirting in the air from the rind, that's the essential oil. And it's very calming, but it's also uplifting. It's once again great for your respiratory. It's also good for sleeping. So it's such a beautiful dynamic oil that you would use. So those are like 2 great oils that a lot of people can have access to. Even if you want to go in the backyard, if you have rosemary or citrus, bust it out, rip up in the little rosemary plant that you have, a couple little things, have the kids touch it and smell it. And that will just is really engaging, grounding, and helps with focus and concentration. Those are my 2 like great like general oils. There's also other oil blends that if kids really have like ADD, ADHD, vetiver is another great oil. This is a blend by a brand called doTERRA that I trust. But in Tune, it is truly a focus blend. And in it, there's sandalwood, in which they also, scientists say that it helps engage your third eye kind of concept. So it's like a spiritual divine oil type thing. So it really helps like total brain engagement. Sandalwood, patchouli, frankincense. So a lot of spiritual oils, ylang ylang, which is a beautiful oil that a lot of perfume companies use, like Coco de Chanel, a lot of her base is ylang ylang. So, there's a lot of power in oils could be used, but this will help engage with focus and concentration. And I use it as like a prayer oil, and it's also good for your thyroid. So there's so many different amazing things to use for engagement. It is a stronger smelling thing. A lot of people don't like patchouli. They have this brand that I use also has a brand called Thinker that's made for kids, and they're gentler for those who maybe that are more sensitive. Like my husband's not really into strong scents, and some children aren't as well. And this oil is a good blend for those that might be a little more sensitive. There's peppermint in it for engagement, vetiver, and clementine. And rosemary once again. So those are just a couple of good oils to help with focus on concentration that I wanted to interject when you're talking homeschooling, especially if you're shifting from an active like outdoor time to like you expect some like, you know, hand skills to be done on a paper that they don't want to do.
That's so good. Can I ask you a bold question? And I mean, right now it's scary times. People are using, you know, hand sanitizer like no tomorrow. By any chance, and I know there's, I don't know, by any chance, have you researched or have you found oils? What is your daily routine with oils to keep the kids safe from possibly getting anything or airborne? Like, what are you doing? How are you kind of keeping your home clean? Like, I know you're really, really good at that. Like, do you have any tips for that?
I wouldn't say I'm really, really good. I do want to say if this is going for the masses, for those who haven't gone through cancer treatment with themselves or for their child, I want to say that this was really, not to be insensitive and tell me other cancer parents, this was kind of easy for us to do. Like going into quarantine was so like natural second nature, but it was the fun part of it because I got to spend time with my family and I didn't have to worry about my child's life. You know, that's kind of not to be insensitive, you know what I mean? But that's really how I felt. So falling back into those routines, I'm like, this is great. It's all the playtime. It's all the beauty of having cancer.
Okay.
It's the beautiful part of having family time and stripping away all those external distractions that are not truly important in life. You know, and that's kind of really what I feel like. It's like kind of reduced us to the bottom denominator of like what's really important in life and what are the things. And I love Lori's advice of having somebody help somebody, even if you're at home stuck, like writing a note or something. I thought that was really helpful. So, and I have a tendency to be just like only thinking of our little nucleus. And so I appreciate that encouragement that Lori did. I do need to get outside of my realm and start helping others, even though we're safe on our lockdown, you know.
Yeah.
So once again, there's some essential oils. We try not to use hand sanitizers, but we do when we need it. So a lot of them, the synthetics, obviously, I know everybody who listens to Carson Neal Foundation knows it's absolute no-no. Anything artificial scents or synthetics, it is an endocrine disruptor. So I try not to use anything that's artificial, but when you really need it, you do. And Donica's a nurse, so she would be able to speak to like the effectiveness of actually having alcohol. They're saying with the specific COVID strain that just any kind of lipid, anything that's soapy will break it down, which is very great. So just the traditional hand washing.
Okay.
And then there's also a blend that a lot of companies are using called, they call it like it's during the bubonic plague, they noticed perfumers, they weren't getting sick during the plague. Like, and so what perfumers would do, because they were bathing in oils, that's what they would do. They would go raid villages and they wouldn't get the illness. They wouldn't get the plague. And what that blend was once again, wild orange, one of my favorites, cinnamon, rosemary, and eucalyptus and clove. Those, if you guys have any of those oils, they're all readily available. They're not pricey oils. They're, you know, this company, once again, that I like to use, that I trust, they have a blend called On Guard. But so any of those oils, so if you have oils at home, you could just open up a cap and they're naturally antibacterial, antiviral. You could use that in lieu of traditional hand sanitizer if you're in a pinch or you don't have any. So, but we do, I even have, I'll use this On Guard blend and I'll put it with some rubbing alcohol in a spritz bottle with a little bit of distilled water. I do like 15 drops and I use that as my hand sanitizer when we're out on the go or if I go grocery shopping. So On Guard, I also diffuse it. Citrus oil is very cleansing. Lemon is really good. So if you kind of diffuse things in the air, think of it in lieu of Lysol, you know, you're kind of cleansing the air as it's going, and it's also having great emotional benefits as well and respiratory benefits. Provided you don't have any specific allergies to these things. So, and also with, you know, cleaning around the house, I get lazy. I like to have Lysol sanitizing wipes, which Kia has pointed, it reminds me of like, oh, do it. So I like broke down and bought the 7th generation and it's made out of thyme and it's 99.9% effective, just like you know, just because it's convenient, you know, for me to have it in each bathroom for when the kids touch around and stuff. So thyme oil is a huge one. One thing I did want to also, like, I looked up, I have this book that's all scientifically backed. A lot of oils that are antiviral, if I could share this with people, because a lot of friends are freaking out right now because they can't access medicines or drugstores and stuff, and it's really not that effective, and that's like counterproductive. It's at the end, but if you're trying to prevent, we're talking about prevention here. Antiviral oils are clove, like really high. There's a lot of oils that are antiviral, but these are like the top ones. If you look at their markers, their you know, their chemical constituents, as clove, eucalyptus, melaleuca, which is also known as tea tree oil, and myrrh. Those are high antiviral, and also oregano and melissa. Melissa is a very expensive oil. It's part of the mint family, but it's super effective. And we use that a lot when my daughter's ANC for her neutrophil count, where she had no ability to fight off infection because of the cancer drugs or the chemotherapy. We use melissa a lot, and because we rubbed it on the soles of her feet just to help boost her immune system, because, you know, it was inevitable to be exposed to stuff. Another, sorry if I'm going on too long, another big, great source of immune stimulant, because that's really what we want to do right now with this COVID virus, is we want to boost our own immune systems through exercise, through sleep, and through eating whole foods. Immune stimulant oils, frankincense is like one of the top ones, lemon, tea tree oil, oregano, and thyme. And anti-infectious is coriander and oregano. So as you can see, antiviral, immune stimulant, like oregano is amazing. So if you even eat oregano all the time, but the essential oil is the most alive aspect of it. So those are the top oils. I just wanted to like let people know if they already have it, because I know a lot of people have oils, to realize, okay, let's just use it, and let's like rub it on, dilute it with a little bit of carrier oil, rub it on the soles of our feet of our children, especially those who are immune compromised. And you could even just open up a cap and rub it on your hands if you're, you know, and don't have a sanitizer or something. So I hope that was
That's perfect.
helpful.
So
Sounds good.
that's so good. Yeah. So with that, if you don't mind, like I said, we're not live right now, but I will post this video to live. And then if we, in the comments, we can just kind of add, if you don't mind, the list of oils you just said, and in the 3 different categories, antiviral and the immune stimulant, all that stuff. If you don't mind just putting it down, because I think that's so good and so helpful.
Okay, good. Yeah, because a lot of people have them. They just don't know how to use them, you know, and it makes me so sad. You just got to open them.
Yay. All right, Dee, what's your take, and how do we get through this?
All right, guys, I'm Donica. I have 3 children of my own, 1 in heaven and 2 boys here. Robbie is actually turning 12 this Saturday. Not today, but next Saturday, a week from today.
Okay.
And then I have my my wacky Zachy, he is 4. So the age gap, you know, makes things a little difficult sometimes to engage your children, because one requires a lot of one-on-one attention, and the other one is pretty self-sufficient. Robbie's very independent. He's an old soul. He will probably survive without me, and that's kind of what we want to teach our children, is how to survive, but not just survive, but maybe be a little bit more aware of their surroundings. My background is in healthcare. I'm a nurse, and my husband's background is in law enforcement and military. So we are no strangers to health and fitness and structure and discipline. We basically, we're moving all day long, whether it's, so I like what Lori said earlier about just teaching your kids life skills. And Erica, Kia, you guys know this about me. I like to get the kids involved in every possible thing that I can. It's taught me a lot of patience, definitely. I have a little bit of OCD. I like things very clean and sparkly. But through motherhood and the cancer journey, I've learned to relinquish a little bit of control and allow the mess, because the mess is their memories. And so I've learned to, especially with the littles, they are so much more capable of doing things than we give them credit for. And so with my 4-year-old, like, he wants to set the table, and that involves pulling up a stool, climbing the stool, standing on the counter, grabbing plates. And it's crazy and it's dangerous, but with very close supervision, I have allowed him to do that. And while that will take away from maybe a task that you have, it will teach our kids that, you know, I can be a part of this family. This is my job. And so mom is cooking. And when mom says it's time to eat, I don't even have to ask my 4-year-old anymore. He'll want to set the table. He'll grab his stool, kick it out open, climb the counter, and then I'll have to drop what I'm doing, hopefully not frying anything, and just kind of guide his little butt and make sure that he doesn't fall off our counter. It's crazy. My house is crazy, but I mean, Kia, you've seen it. You know, I'm not lying.
I love it. I feel at home.
You know, and so for our boys, because they're so active and they're so strong, I don't really have to worry about, you know, keeping them engaged with like arts and crafts, which is so important, but I fail at that. So I actually took some notes from you, Lori. But I just kind of send the boys outside and I give them chores. They're very practical life skills. Like, we get up in the morning, we don't have an exact time, but there is a window. So on school days, the older children, sometimes I have nieces and nephews that come over, and so when they spend the night, the older kids, they kind of have a rough schedule, and they're expected to do their schoolwork between the hours of 9:30-ish to about lunch. And if they need to take a break and step away, they're allowed to. But in this whole COVID quarantine thing, this is kind of what we've done to stay sane, is to have a rough schedule. And I actually have the kids write out their own schedule so that they know what their expectations are, and they can, you know, they're old enough to look at the clock, see where they are, and it just gives them a sense of responsibility. And so they write out their own schedule, they try to stick to it, and if they deviate a little bit, it's okay. But it just kind of gives them a little sense of control too, the control that maybe has been lost. And we gather all the time together for meals. So as much as I would rather prepare everything on my own, because it's just so much quicker, I involve the kids in preparing their own food and snacks as well. And so Kia, for Grayson and Beckham, I know that can be a little challenging, but maybe Grayson and Beckham can be partners, and, you know, you can give her the plate and ask Becca, and it takes so long and it's not perfect, but what else are we gonna do at home?
Yes.
You know?
Right.
So, but they just, because for me growing up, dinner time together was non-negotiable. Didn't matter how old we were, if we were living in the house and if we were all driving and we had sports and friends or whatever, that was fine. But everybody had to be home by dinner. No, like, this out of the question. And we had dinner together, and that's when we had our meal time, our family talk. And so I just really appreciate that my dad enforced that. And so I try to do that with the kids is, okay, well, even if you're not done with your math homework, Robbie, or even if you have, you know, to read 30 more minutes, just drop what you're doing. Let's make a snack together, and let's sit down and discuss. You know, what are you doing? How are you doing with your homework? Do you have any questions? And so
That's so good.
Yeah. Let's see. What else did I write here? So yeah, involve the kids. You know, yard work, chores. We have been blessed to have a nice space in our backyard. And in the last 3 weeks, we have turned actually our side yard into a little garden.
Oh.
And I have learned a lot about soil and why bees are important and hummingbirds. So even I'm learning, you guys. So the kids, when we were planting stuff, they were trying to whack some bees out of the way because they were trying to get to the lavender plant. And I told them, to leave the bees alone because bees are important. And so when, Maya, my niece, was asking, well, I don't want to get stung and why are they important? And I said, well, that's a great question. So then it ended up being a science lesson on bees and pollination. And they ended up watching a little YouTube video about, their role in nature. And then we went back out to the garden. And instead of trying to whack the bee now, she just kind of like shooed it away or walked away. And I thought that was a great opportunity, where we otherwise would have maybe freaked out. Now she knows, okay, well, this is not a scary thing. We need the bees. Just little things that maybe we overlook in our day-to-day lives.
Yes.
So that was like a little science lesson. So also working in law enforcement and military and healthcare, my husband and I are huge on service. We are healthy, praise God, and we are blessed to have a church that continues to keep their food pantry doors open during this quarantine time. And so every Friday, my very strong boys who've got all these muscles and know where to use them are put to work at our food pantry. And so we go to church every Friday. We serve from about 9:30 to whenever it's done, usually around 1:30. And they are packing grocery bags, rolling them out to cars, and not making contact, wearing their PPE and doing all of that. Just so that they can see the need, be aware of, how many people need hope and relief out there, and maybe experience, gratitude through seeing firsthand how they don't have to fall in line and wait for 2 hours for some food, and they get to be, a part of helping our community. So we are huge on service. I like what Lori said, where you do something to help somebody. That's one of the things that we have done in this time.
So good.
Yeah.
So
So
it's really hard to feel sorry for yourself when you're helping other people.
Yeah, exactly.
Is what it comes down to, right? Like,
exactly. If you're feeling like crap, go help somebody else. And it's not,
amen.
So I just want my boys to be informed, not ignorant to the situation, and they've learned to not use the sentence "I'm bored in this house" because there's always going to be, there's always something to do. And then as far as the exercise goes, so this is going to be a fun little challenge, but moms, get involved with your kids. I'm sure you guys have seen like the burpee challenges or the push-up challenges, and I try not to get like too sucked into all the trending challenges, but I do watch them and we participate at home. I just don't post on social media. And because I have gymnasts for children, their strength and flexibility expectation are just set way above the bar, and it's a way to just keep their skills up. And so those physical challenges are really fun for us, and they have kind of kept my heart rate up too, which is really important. So just, involve your kids with the little physical challenges. It may not be fun to do 10 push-ups, but just say, hey, I saw this really cool video. You want to try it? And just do it with them. Be present in this time. And what was I going to say? Oh, and record it, because they like to see themselves. And so when you guys record each other and they see like oh, I could do this better. Like Kia, for your girls, like the soccer drills, right? Just record it and show it, because they will catch what they're doing wrong, and then they're going to want to do it better next time. And you don't have
I
to
love
share any of this with everybody else, but if you're just sharing it amongst yourselves, then they can, they can critique themselves. And I think that that'll keep them accountable and not lose any of the skills that they work so hard for all year round. This is for moms of athletes.
Yep.
Yes.
Agree.
I think that's.
Yay. This is some
Can I? Oh, sorry. Who's talking?
Oh, go ahead.
Lori. Okay, I wanted to share, for those who don't have totally athletic children, like my daughter could barely touch her toes. It's genetic on the dad's side. But like one thing the teacher asked, one thing would you want to change about herself? Like this was a school assignment. And she told me in private that she wishes she didn't have cancer, but she didn't want to share that with everybody. So I'll just share it on social media. But but that's a good, I was like, and then I was like, oh, I know, you don't have to share that though, is what else. And then she goes, I wish I was more flexible. And I said, you don't just have to wish, you could like work towards that. And I just thought like, oh my gosh, what are your kids' goals? Not what goals do you have for your kids? Yeah. What does your kid want right now for themselves? And how do you help them achieve that? And so we happen to live by her PE teacher, and she was like saying, there's yoga kids called Cosmic Kids, and which like fun yoga for kids. And so I was like, okay, we need to do that. And it's called Cosmic Kids. And then another fun thing that my kids love on rainy days, it's Go Noodle, if anybody hasn't heard of that. And that's a fun, and it's not, you don't have to be super athletic. And actually the other day my son plays it, and they do it all the time. They do silly songs, but he made me forego my Peloton workout to do a workout with him. Yeah, and awesome. It was 20 minutes. I am so sore. And it's because I wasn't just going like this and sweating like I'm so comfortable doing. I had to do side to side and jump up and down. I'm like, I am so sore everywhere. And I was like, oh, imagine that. Like I was just using inertia to help me. And now I'm got to like balance against gravity. So anyways, my point is like, I didn't have to do anything sophisticated, because honestly, you tell me to do a sit up, I'll spit in your face. Like, don't make me do a sit up. Like that's not going to happen. Or a push up, but like I will like play along, with my kids. And so it's something as simple as like Go Noodle I found to be like totally transforming my own body, but yet bonding. And then I tell my little 7-year-old, wow, you're like a great personal trainer. And then he takes that pride of feeling like, hey, I'm helping mom do something. So I just thought that was pretty awesome. I just wanted to share that, realizing to take the time. And I was like, oh, I can't work out with my friend on my Peloton, but I'm with my son, So, okay. I just had to share that for the non-competitive people.
That's great advice for the non-athletic moms is, that was the point, I guess, is just play along. The Cosmic Yoga, you guys, that's, okay. So the lady tells stories through yoga. Okay. And we did this Moana yoga workout. It was an hour. Okay? So it may not be suitable for kids with very short attention spans, but even if you do 10 minutes of it and just, some of the stories, maybe they'll like better than others. Like there was one where it was like a cowboy theme. And so I highly recommend that. I did that with Zach, but he's not calm enough to do the breathing and the stretching, but you should look into that. 10 minutes.
Do it.
It's a great one.
Do it. And just, play along, like Erica said, with your kids. And even if you're not doing the stretches for real, just to be at their side will encourage them to keep going. So,
okay. So good. So good. All right, Teresa, you've been on the go. You guys are such a busy one.
Hi.
Hi, gorgeous.
Thanks for sharing all this information, guys.
So
my kids are smaller, so I have a 5-year-old, and Zarabelle is almost 3, and then a 1-year-old. So I guess our house is probably different because we're in this like baby stage, and my 5-year-old really loves that we're all home together now. I feel like he kind of manifested like something to close down. He was telling us earlier, he's like, I just want to do homeschool. We're active with Inspire Charter School. So we've been doing homeschool with him for a little bit because he's older, he's 5, but his birthday's in December. He didn't go to the kindergarten class, so he stayed in preschool. So we're like, let's supplement it. So we already started with Inspire. And he was like, I just rather stay and do homeschool. We're like, no, you love your friends, go. And then they closed down the school, and he was like, this is awesome. Like, all day with you guys. He really loves it. But also they're pretty active. I've had them like both in soccer and just started swim, and we would go to the gym, and we would go to the YMCA, and we loved to walk at the zoo. And then when everything shut down, we're active people, so we were a little bit like, I don't know, it's like a stop, like a little barricade. We're like, now that we can't go, we want to do all this stuff so bad. But we're just finding some ways. I mean, I am with the kids most of the day, but I'm starting work. So I did telehealth on Wednesday, and it was awesome. And then this upcoming week, I'm working a lot more because I really love my job, and I'm better at that. I'm a better mom if I have work to do. So I'm starting work, but the kids are with an au pair in the middle of the day, and they play games and they bake. As far as like immunity stuff, I like the essential oils too, so we use those, but I do like Lysol. I'm not totally against using anything like Cavicide. So I do that too. And then I love to have like a clean house and organization, and obviously that's hard with all my kids. So I'm a big fan of like labeling things and putting it in label makers, and then complaining that why isn't it exactly where it should be. Like, can't you read this? This is where all your books go.
You and Donica should meet.
So as far as me and Henish, my partner,
He's so
we
cool.
like doing like
Right.
going outside. So we're on our way to a hike right now. We both are like fans of holistic care, so we love the herbs. His parents do a little bit of Ayurvedic stuff, and I took some classes in it, so that's fun. So we'll make like soups or teas, and I like that. We both like touch, so like we're a fan of gua sha or cupping, and I'll do that with the kids too. We'll just take like a little cup, and you just press it onto them, but you don't pump it or you don't fire cup it or anything, and we can like help them with airway clearance if they have a cold. But since the quarantine, our kids have been like the healthiest they've ever been, because there's no other children in the area that they're getting sniffles from. It's been awesome. Like, they don't have
Cool.
gross noses. So
Yeah.
I don't know, it's been really cool. It just goes to show you how dirty everything is, right?
So,
Right.
really quick,
Teresa, are you a medical professional? Sorry.
I'm a doctor of physical therapy. So I'm like
okay.
in healthcare, but I'm on the holistic side of healthcare, which is like the perfect balance for me. So I love that. I feel like I have a knowledge and background, and then I know all the stuff I don't want to do.
So Teresa,
That's our number one. That's like our number one thing, is like we learn how to refer out and what red flags are. Like, is this patient suitable for physical therapy, or do they need to be referred out? And that's like my life skill. So I could be like, I need to refer you out. Like, I don't know how to manage that. I'm so good at it. I forgot. I lost my train of thought.
well, Teresa, I have a question. You mentioned cupping, and I know I've heard that term before from Donica. So is cupping something that anyone could do, or would you say no?
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
I could learn to cup my kids.
We'll get a cupping set right now.
I know. What do you think I'm doing? I'm on the run.
Come to my house. I'll give you a cupping set.
No way.
Yeah.
And you'll teach me how to do it, because I heard it's amazing, right? I heard it like suctions all the blood into one area or something, and then.
Yeah, you can. So since I'm a Western clinician, I use it like Western style. I don't do meridians or anything like that. We just do, like, for Henish and I, since we're adults, we'll do like place oil on, and then we'll either do a fire cup or pump a cup and like suction up the skin, and we'll just move it around, and it feels like it pulls up on the fascia. It feels like a lot of tension releases. If I'm doing it with my kids, I don't turn anything on the cup. I don't use any pressure. I just put it on their chest and then lift it. And then I don't use oil even with them. And I just try to like mobilize some clearance in that way.
Okay.
It doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Kia.
Yes.
And
See
then
this
like
gun?
love to be massaged and stuff. So like we massage them we put like oil on their feet. I don't know. They're a snuggly bunch of kids, so we're always snuggling up with them, and they like that. They're super active though too, so we have to like run them.
Okay. Makes sense. So when I post this video, oh, you know what? You guys have gotten the boot from Comfort Creators. So I'll have to text you and get the link. But if possible, I'd be interested in like some information on cupping under this when we post this video, some information on cupping, its benefits, how it can help during this time, and maybe like your go-to YouTube video on how to do it properly. I don't know if
Yeah, sure.
that's
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, that feels like it's within my scope. But like I said, like I'm like Danica might have more information like for the TCM, like the traditional Chinese medicine way. I don't know, because nurses do both, right? And then for me, I'm a Western clinician, so I just use it in a Western way. But yeah, I feels like that's within my scope, so I feel comfortable with that.
Yeah, okay. And then I know Donica does it too. So, I mean, if that's something that helps for the kids or beneficial for the kids during the time, then yeah, just I mean,
You know who also does it? Olivia.
oh, well, I saw your little,
No, the kids love to do it. Donica, well, like Dr. Ruth, our acupuncturist that Donica works for at times too, she like empowers all the children, and we all have kids at home, and the kids love to do it, even the parents who are sick with us, right, Donica?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's sweet.
your kids know how to do it?
Yeah.
Really?
Robbie cups me too.
Whoa. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you need a cupping set so you can get cupped.
okay.
You could even buy
Not for
one
your
off of
kids, it's for you.
Amazon.
Okay, I can't wait to learn. Well, I mean, I think this was great, ladies. I appreciate you so much being on this call and working. Like, I hope it says it's recording, so I hope I have everything. And yeah, we're all mamas, and you ladies are all amazing to me. It's just so awesome to have you guys as my tribe and as my people. And Teresa,
I do have, sorry to interrupt. I have one more question.
yes.
Can you post another TikTok video?
Oh my God, that was amazing.
I think I watched it like 15 times. I was
Jeff,
watching every single one of your facial expressions.
And Jeff was fucking hysterical. I can't. That was amazing. I can't. And the best part is that Abby ran downstairs and was like, oh, Mama, did you see Kia's TikTok? I was like, I did.
That is a great way to keep your kids active and engaged.
and let
I
me
love
tell
it.
you, I was practicing that for 2 days, and I was sore. I was like, I don't know if I could do it. That last take, I was like, we got it. That face where I was like, ah. I was like, that was enough.
That made me so happy,
Funny.
Kia.
Hey, on this quarantine, I'm trying to lose weight a little bit. I'm trying to like,
Yeah.
Shake it up.
you know what? I challenge all of us. We should come up with a TikTok.
Yes.
Oh, that's funny.
I love you, ladies, and I'm so glad that you guys are on the call. Like, we are currently, as a foundation, we're working on it's been cool. Like, in the stillness of it all, we've been really working on getting more organized in the back. Because, like, when you start this, it's a passion project, right? You're like, yes, I want to serve on people. I can't remember who mentioned it earlier, but, like, when you're hurting, the best way to, like, heal is serving on people. And I tell you guys all when I meet you guys, like, that is Carson Yale Foundation. It is a hurting mama that said, I have to do something. Whoa, I'm a childhood cancer mom. Okay, well, what is childhood cancer? Oh my God, look at the statistics. And then saying, like, I'm hurting and I know I have to serve people, and I love it. And so we're just we are trying to transition from passion project hobby, right? No organization on the background, not able to grow because we can't really clearly articulate to our volunteers what we want. And so I'm just learning, like, I'm reading a book right now called Leadership by John Maxwell. It talks about becoming a better leader and what that looks like. And a lot of the things I have, but I think that in order to grow, we just need systems in place, and I have to figure it out. Because we want to grow and we want to be here for the long run. And I think that's why we kind of had like not as many rooms as we first initially, did, because it was like that high of serving and feeling good and saying like, oh, there's a purpose, there's a reason why, if Carson had to pass, I'm meeting Donica and Lori and Teresa and all you mamas, Erica and okay. And so now we are at that point where it's like, okay, this is a business and we do need partnership and sponsorships in order to keep going on. We need volunteers. And so things have been a little quiet and a little slow. And I think it's just because our mission has definitely grown, where it's not just about designing clean, sustainable, non-toxic bedrooms, but it's about kind of empowering and educating families and finding families where they're at. So it's okay if you use Lysol. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to knock you. But maybe we can come in and empower and say like, look, here's the science behind using the alcohol with the On Guard and this, and look at the science behind that. It disinfects and all that good stuff and the benefits. And so that is where we're at. I hope, I'm definitely praying, that this year or out of quarantine, we make it happen. But I just appreciate you ladies being here because I feel like this is important, and you guys are my community. You guys are my tribe. So thank you guys for getting on this call.
Thanks, Kia.
Thank you so much, Kia.
Love you.
Thanks for facilitating. Love you too.
All right. I talk to you guys later. I'm going to try to post it.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Be well, love.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye, Lori.
Thank
Bye, Teresa. Bye, guys. It was nice to see you.
you.
You too. Bye.
Stop video. Nope, that didn't work. Oh, there it is.
Still here. Okay.